We're moving on now to simplifying fractions with radicals. So it's going to be a little more division. I'll start with just a reminder about what the word simplifying means in terms of fractions. This is so important to internalize. If you have a fraction like 4x over 6, simplifying it means remove or cancel common factors. What are factors? Things that are being multiplied. Okay, so 4x over 6 means 4 times x over 6. And if we think about the number 4 as being 2 times 2, and the number 6 as being 2 times 3, all we have in the numerator and denominators are multiplication, which means we can cancel or remove anything they have in common. Canceling the 2's, left with 2x on top and 3 on bottom. 2 times x on top, 3 on bottom. We remove the common factor of 2. That's going to be the same when we're working with radicals. Okay, we're just removing common factors on the outsides. So let's look at this one to start. We are going to simplify the radical 45 over 9. Now, what you might jump to right away is think, ooh, I can cancel 45 and 9 because they both have a 9. No, you cannot. Why? Because this one is inside a radical and this one is not. Okay, you can't cancel inside a radical with not inside a radical. So what do we do then? We simplify the radical first. Radical 45. So we can take radical 45 and think about it as the square root of 9 times 5. Why did I choose 9 times 5? Because 9 is a perfect square. What can I do with the perfect square? I can take its square root, which is 3, bring it out front, and leave the 5 on the inside. And then we have still over 9. How does that help us? Because now we have 3 times 5, and we have 9 on the bottom, which is really 3 times 3, and we have common factors. There's a 3 outside, which can cancel with this 3 down there, and what we're left with is the square root of 5 over 3. This radical 5 is still on top, this 3 is still on the bottom, but it's been reduced, it has been simplified. But we had to simplify the radical first. Got it? Okay, so that one just had a single term up top and a single term on the bottom. Most of the ones we are going to talk about, though, have multiple terms, like the square root of, sorry, wrong one, 2 plus 6 radical 2 over 8. Now, this involves remembering that when you have 2 terms, you can never cancel your denominator with just one of them. You can never do this. That doesn't work because this 8 belongs to both of these terms up top. So the way we do it is we factor out a GCF. So we can see the thing that the 2 and the 6 have in common, to see the thing that both terms on top have in common. So we are going to factor out a 2 from both of these terms. Pull a 2 out front, and then we're left with 1 plus 3 radical 2. Where did I get that? Well, I pulled a 2 out of 2. I divided a 2 out of this 2, which left me with that 1. I divided a 2 out of this 6, which left me with that 3. And this radical just stays as it is. So how does this help us? Well, now we have a big multiplication problem. 2 times this big messy binomial, but that means we can cancel this 2 with this 8. I can think of the 8 as I can think of the 8 as 2 times 4. Doing so allows me to cancel this 2 that we factored out with this 2 on the bottom. What are we left with? 1 plus 3 radical 2 on top over 4. This is our simplified fraction. Notice how we basically canceled a 2 from the bottom with both of a 2 from both of those terms. That's what happens. That's how we get here. So what if we have to simplify our radical first? So far, these have been nothing new. We've just had a radical there instead of maybe a variable. But what if we have to simplify a little bit first? Radical 54 plus 6 over 18. Let's try to simplify this. So when I look at this, there's nothing out front of here. There's no coefficient. So I can't factor anything out of both of these terms. I think to myself, can I cancel the 6 with the 18? No, because this is addition. You can't cancel just one of the terms in a binomial. So what do we have to do to start? We have to simplify this radical. So what do? We leave the 18 down here. We leave the plus 6 there. And we're going to take this radical and we're going to separate 54 into two numbers, one of which is a perfect square. How about 9 times 6? We can now take the square root of that 9 and pull it out front. 9 has a root of 3. So we're going to make it 3 radical 6. The 6 stays in, 3 comes out. And then we still have the plus 6, and we still have our 18 below. Okay? The purpose of this is to simplify it, reduce it. I see a 3 out front here, a 6 out front here, and an 18 down there. I have to factor something out of the numerator, a GCF. Both of them have a 3. So we're going to factor out a 3. I'm going to pull a 3 out from both of these terms, put it out front here. What does that leave us with in this parenthesis? The square root of 6 stays. There's no number in front of it other than a 1. If that 1 helps you, you can put it there for now. Take it out at the end. Plus, divide a 3 out of the 6 and you're left with a 2. Still over 18. Now, because it's a multiplication statement, we can cancel the 3 with the 18. If it helps you to rewrite the 18 as 3 times 6, you can see what actually cancels, then do it. Cancel the 3 with the 3. And what we're left with is radical 6 plus 2. We don't need the parentheses anymore because there's nothing out front. And on the bottom, we're left with a 6. And that's all we can cancel. We can't cancel these. We can't cancel these. This is it. All right, one more for you to try. Let's make this one a little more complex. Negative square root of 75 minus 30. And let's put that all over 5. Pause the video, see if you can work through this on your own. I'll keep going. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to simplify this radical. So I'm going to break that 75 up. There's a negative out front. I can't forget about that. I'm going to break the 75 up into, that's right, 25 times 3. Why did I do that? Because 25 is a perfect square. So on the next line, we are going to take the square root of 25, which is 5, and bring it out front. It's going to come after that negative. Now we've got negative 5. What's left on the inside? This 3. 3 is still there. Minus 30. We still have a 5 on the bottom. Now is our opportunity to do some cancellation. But we have to factor first. We have to factor something out because we have 2 terms on top. Looks to me like we could factor out a 5. So I'm going to factor out a 5. I'm going to leave this as negative square root of 3 minus, not 30. I'm going to divide out a 5 and it's going to become a 6. And then I have a 5 on the bottom. Oh, in this case, the 5s cancel and there's no denominator left. So the only things we have left are the negative radical 3 minus 6. And that is completely simplified. And so that is how we simplify fractions with radicals. We first have to factor. We have to look to see what we can cancel. And that's it.